Thomas from a security analyst has heard the BBC report. Were you aware, I think you said you weren't even aware of the report other than the link being sent to you, is that right?
That is right.
Were you aware at this stage of the Post Office making noises about commissioning an independent evaluation of the Horizon system?
I was not.
Is that surprising, given that you were the managing director of a division where Post Office was one of your key clients?
Well, I had regular meetings with Post Office, as I think the inquiry can see, and I would have imagined they would have brought that up with me.
Is it strange that a lawyer within Fujitsu would be aware of that, but you would not be?
I don't know, Mr. Blake. You'd have to ask them.
If we scroll up, please. Hi, David. The suggestion, I understand it has not been officially requested, has come directly from Mike Young, the highest level of engagement. We are, of course, aware of the contractual obligations, and as this does not form part of them, the team would be more interested in any other considerations. So it seems as though the request has come directly from Mike Young. He was one of your direct liaisons, wasn't he?
Yes.
So how is it that you were not aware of that at this time?
I don't know.
I mean, something seems to have gone fundamentally wrong at Fujitsu for this level of information not to be provided to you, hasn't it?
I would have expected Mike to come to me or the then leader of the Post Office account from Fujitsu with that request.
And is it likely that he did go to the leader of the Post Office account and it simply hasn't, for some reason, been raised with you?
There is a possibility of that, but I just don't know.
If we scroll up, the response is, you are aware that we have or had a banking indemnity in place that would mean, if I recall it properly, that if the outcome of the investigation were adverse, that Fujitsu might have some liability to the Post Office. So pausing there, as managing director, would it not have been important for you to have been aware that potentially Fujitsu was on the line for some liability in respect of these issues?
I think our view, certainly my view, would have been if there was an issue with the software that's causing account balance issues, which then leads to people being prosecuted, it didn't matter what the consequences were, we should have got to the root cause of that.
And why, as at 11th of February 2011, do you think that wasn't happening?
I do not know. And Mr. Blake, I think around this time, if I may, I was also involved in a negotiation with another customer that did involve Fujitsu exiting an account and cost about £38 million. It was the right thing to do for both the customer and for Fujitsu. It generally takes a more rounded view to come to a conclusion than a purely legal view.
And what is the relevance of that?
Well, the relevance of that is that where there were issues, Fujitsu faced up to them.
But it seems, from your account, you weren't aware of the issues.
I was not aware of this.
I mean, we've seen article after article after article. How can it be that at this stage you weren't aware? What went wrong?
It's difficult to say for me to comment. We had good governance in place. We had good open lines of communication with the customer. We had the opportunity to escalate up and down the organisation. So difficult for me to say.
And you've got here people who were actually involved in the prosecution of sub-postmasters. So we've got Gareth Jenkins, Penny Thomas, all in this email chain, all aware of the BBC reporting. So they had been involved in Seema Misra's case, as an example.
Right.
How can it be that somebody from that team didn't raise it up to the managing director?
I do not know how it did not come to my attention, nor up the other line to the then CEO of Fujitsu or to Roger's attention either.